Good evening. Hello. Thank you so much for joining me today. How are we all doing? I don't know if I'm live yet. Yes, I'm live on Instagram, but am I live online? I can't seem to see the top of the screen. I don't know what's going on, but let's go full screen and see if that would help. Oh, fantastic. Welcome everyone to today's episode of Stock to Finish. Now, we've gone to phase two. In phase one, we just talked about the surface level. We didn't really do practicals. We did a lot of assessments and quizzes. But not to worry, the assessments and quizzes are not going anyway. Hi, my name is DK Jonah, and I'm the founder of the Commitment Circle. The Commitment Circle is an accountability group where we hold each other accountable. It's bringing creativity and productivity together, two things that do not coexist well. So it's helping creatives learn to express their gifts, do the work that matters, and actually thrive in whatever place they are. So I would like to know where you're listening from, and if my audio is good, let me know. And if my audio isn't good, please, a member of the team should let me know what platform and I would adjust. But not to worry, you're not going to see my face, but you'll hear from me and it'll be fantastic. So, welcome to today's episode. Now, in phase two, we're doing things different. So, phase one was quite simple. I went live every day. Now, phase two, we're going live just 10 days. 10 days, and it's not 10 days back to back. So it's going to be every Tuesday and Friday, and then the last 3 days of the month. So that's the way we've decided to do it. So mark your calendars. We're going to schedule everything in advance so that you can all see it. Today was kind of an opportunity for us as a team to decide what days I will be meeting with them and what days I'll be meeting with you. But this side of the series is 10 episodes. Now, why we quit? We're going to not just say, oh, people abandon goals, people are procrastinators, because that's a tendency we have. We just look at people as lazy. Oh, you're lazy. That's why you didn't complete your goals. We've talked about the fact that motivation is not enough. You're motivated to do what you want to do. Starting is not a problem. People are perfect when it comes to starting. But why do we quit? Why do we just abandon goals and something we cherish? Why is it that sometimes, or even the good things that we want, we just don't want to do the work that is involved? Is it that people are inherently lazy? Is it that people just procrastinate because they feel like, or is there something more that prevents people from doing the things they're supposed to do? Now, let's dig in. So, why do people quit? On Saturday, we had a series and I asked people this question: why is it that you don't do what you say you will do? And I'm going to be using their responses and giving answers to their responses and fleshing it out. So if we are able to look at the responses, we look at the psychological parts of it. Then we go to Japan a little bit and learn a few Japanese proverbs that could help us in our daily lives. But like I said earlier, this project is start to finish, and start to finish is a commitment we are making to finish exactly what we've started. So finishing could be understanding that a project has lived its life cycle and moving on to another project. It could be different things. But for today, we're just looking at the psychological impact of quitting. Why do people abandon goals? Now, I just need to say this. I'm not a psychologist, but I'll be giving both what I have researched and what I have experienced, people that I have coached, people that I have mentored, people I have trained, and myself. So this Saturday we had an event called the Reset that was by Commitment Circle. It was simply an opportunity for us to have a reset on the life for this year, the goals that we've started and we've abandoned. Why did we abandon them? So it was about going back. And one of the places we reached was when we asked this question: why do you procrastinate? People gave responses, and I want to share a little bit about what I believe makes people procrastinate. Now, when we're setting goals, some people set goals well, some people don't. That's an established fact, but they just start. Some people do not intend to start. Probably life made you, or circumstances in the office, they gave you a promotion you were not expecting. After NYC, you were trying to get your job, you fell into another industry. So you've abandoned your jobs, you've abandoned your career, you've abandoned everything, but you're still looking for something. So we've divided our goal setting into personal and professional. So there's personal and professional when we're coming to goals. And people get stuck. Some people are thriving in the personal place, but they're collapsing in the professional place. And I'll be talking more about that tomorrow, but this is why I want to leave you with regards to goal setting process. Goal setting is not all. It's a process, it's a system, and most people don't accomplish their goals because they do not have what we've called a personal productivity system. Part of your personal productivity system is the way you set your goals and the systems you put in place to ensure you accomplish your goals. So, we'll be talking more about that tomorrow. But why do people get stuck? Why people get stuck? Why do people prevent themselves from moving forward? What prevents people from moving forward? Is it the mind? What can it be? So we asked this question on Saturday, and I'll be sharing a few of the responses, and hopefully we can have a conversation. But before I go forward, I would like to know where you're listening from. Let me know what platform you're listening from, and also let me know what you want to do. But like I said, today we're talking about getting unstuck, how we can accomplish our goals. It's a 10-day series every Tuesday and Friday, and the last 3 days of the month. And we are helping people accomplish the goals that they want to accomplish. So it's not just about setting goals and feeling lucky, but it's about ensuring that you're positioning yourself to win. So why people get stuck? Why don't people do what they say they want to do? There are so many challenges people could face that could prevent them from actually looking at. But we're just going to look at the psychological factors that contribute to goal abandonment. So we're calling it goal abandonment. Is goal setting and then you abandon your goals. You shift your attention. You just don't do what you're supposed to do. So there are many factors that affect goal abandonment. And the first one is fear of failure. If you're not afraid of failure, let me see you write no. If you're afraid of failure, let me see you write yes. So many people are afraid of failure. It could be as a result of the past, it could be as a result of anything. Some people, the only reason they do what they do is that they have to be the best and leave the rest behind. And once that happens, they're afraid to fail. So, okay, let me give you an example. A gentleman or a boy or a girl, let's use a girl. Her name is, thank you, Itunu. Her name is Paris. We're going to be faking names. And she has always been the best student. She beats all the boys. She does not care if you're a boy or girl. Our own aim in class is to beat you. In her school, she's the best. She has never failed anything. And you have Yale. Yale has always struggled. She has been average. She has always put in pressure. She has always had to read. She has always had to overcome challenges that Parry doesn't have. Now, Yale, Parry gets into the best school and meets people 10 times better than her, and she crumbles. She's not able to survive. But Yale comes into a school, there are people better than her, but because she has put in pressure to improve herself, she is always afraid of failure. Now, both parties are afraid of failure, but for different reasons. Fear of failure cripples people, it prevents them from moving forward because you're afraid, what if I fail? What if it doesn't go right? What if it goes wrong? And I will talk about each one. I think I'm going to break what I wanted to do and twist it on the head. I will talk about the fear or the reason, and then I will give a solution. So please take notes. Sorry, bless me. Nobody said bless you. All right. Fear of failure. How do you overcome fear of failure? There's something Pastor Abby says that I think Parry, the beautiful girl that has always been the best looking, best dressed, most successful person in our school, needs to hear. And is in any environment that you get to, you're going to meet someone that is better than you, finer than you, more qualified than you. Your job is to be the best version of you and not just be competing with others. When it comes to fear of failure, the advice you will give A is different from the advice you will give B. But one thing remains common. Nothing is always going to, everything is not going to go according to plan all the time. So you need to failure proof yourself. You need to prevent yourself from breaking down when things don't go your way. You need to ensure that you are on the right track and ensure that you are positioning yourself for success. So even if things don't go, you don't see failure as the end. You see it as a learning opportunity. You are able to sit back and reflect and say, okay, where did I go wrong? What did I do well? What didn't I do well? Maybe I could have done something differently. You are able to have an appointment with yourself. I like calling this have a meeting with yourself. Today, I just told myself, sit in silence and be bored. I was like, I can't be. I reached for my phone. Sometimes we need to. So that's why I encourage the daily reflection, where you can reflect on your day and ask yourself difficult questions that you don't want people to ask you, and you answer honestly. So when you're afraid of failure, ask yourself these questions. Why am I afraid of failure first? But why am I afraid of failure? Next question. When was the first time I realized I was afraid of failure? You write that down. So why am I afraid of failure? Why am I afraid of failure? When was the first time I said I was afraid of failure? When was the last time I was afraid of failure? And why am I afraid of failure? Answer these questions and you'll be amazing. It's new. I just came up with that. Please help me write that. When, why? No, when, what, why? So you are tackling this thing heads on. And that can be an amazing post you can put on Instagram. Fear of failure prevents people from moving forward because it holds them back. When I'm afraid at all, even fear, let's even before we even talk of failure. When I'm afraid, I can't do anything. When I'm worried, I can't do anything. Even if I function at 10%. And the same goes for so many people. Thank you, Tunu. The same goes for so many people. Sometimes we should address the issue. We should face it square on. Why am I afraid? What is fear to me? What happens to me when I'm afraid? You have to answer these questions in order for you to progress. The reason you are abandoning your goal is because you've not dealt with the trauma, you've not dealt with the issues, you've not dealt with so many things. The fear of failure is what will make you hold back. It sabotages you. It prevents you from even giving 1%. Sometimes you abandon the goal and you abandon other areas of your life because you don't want to fail. You're like, okay, if I never tried, I never failed. But sometimes this is a good thing. The way to learn is by trying. You would not know how something works until you try. Now, I'm an introverted introvert. I started speaking out in 2014 a little bit. Before then, I wasn't. I did not know I could speak because I was afraid people will laugh at me when I talk. My voice is not loud. I don't know how to carry myself. I don't know this. So all these things, all these fears crippled me completely. But there's this boldness that comes over me once in a while, and I can just speak, and then I go back and start questioning myself. Oh, what did I say? And then I was getting encouragement from some people. Some people, yeah, I was still afraid. I'm still afraid to fail. But what has changed? My mindset about failure. Rather than running away from something because I'm afraid I will fail, I'll rather do it and fail and then learn from that opportunity. It's not, and do you know the good thing about what I'm talking about today? Remember, looking at the psychological impact. I'm not promising you a rosy garden. I'm not promising you a plate full of suya or agbalumo. That's what I love. So whatever you love, I'm not promising you diamonds and pearls. I'm telling you that there will be turns that you would meet in the bush. There will be things that will prevent you from functioning. But if you are to be forewarned is to be forearmed. I don't know where I got that, but I know I've heard it before. What does that mean? To be, when you are aware of something, you are armed and prepared. Now that we are aware that failure prevents us, and it could be past failures. You're like, I failed in the past, I can't do it again. I called for a course, only 2 people paid. And somebody told me once that if one person pays for your course, you go ahead with it. If nobody pays, you go ahead with it and increase the price. You teach it, record it, and sell it. You improve, because the only way I can know if I can teach is by teaching. The only way I know if I can improve is by working. So fear of failure could cripple you, but it shouldn't prevent you from trying. So never give up and try again. We think of Aliyah, but that's the truth. Fear of failure even makes you not want to try. What are you really afraid of? Ask yourself that question. What is it that is holding you back? Why are you afraid of failure? Give an example of a time you failed. What happened? Who was there? What was their reaction? Ask yourself questions. It seems we're going to have to listen to this episode again and hit pause when you hear a question and write down these questions. Because I didn't plan on doing it this way, but like I said, we'll move it, go with the flow. When we are able to address it, sometimes it could be our parents' reaction when we failed, when we broke a glass, when we did something to our younger sibling, when we lost our temper, when we did something in the office and nobody liked it and everybody started talking about. When I remember one Christmas, I sent an email to my office when I just became HR, and I said, we're celebrating the death of our Lord Jesus Christ, and we are this. I wrote an Easter message instead of a Christmas message. And I hit send, and everybody opened the email, and I was like, I'm dead, I'm dead, I'm dead. But mistakes happen. Fear of making mistakes. Now, that would have prevented me from sending any email further from there. That would have prevented me from doing anything. Why am I sharing my experiences? At that point, I was like, I'm never going to send an email in an office anymore. I'm never going to be a leader. I'm never going to do this because of a mistake I made. So, fear of the mistakes you made. So, those mistakes, rather than seeing it as a failure, I should have seen it as a learning curve. That next time I proofread, I hate proofreading. Once I just write something I want to send, I don't want to read. I will send to somebody. Like, "Oh, I wrote something today. I sent it to you." I was like, please, if send you something, proofread it for me because I've just written it from my head. Now, I realized I needed support. When you are afraid of failure, what then happens? What's your failure proof way? And it's simple. You are not a failure. Even if you failed in the past and everybody laughed, even if they've called you Olodo, even if they've called you anything, you yourself are not a failure. That's one thing you should realize. If goals did not go the way you wanted them to go, you are not a failure. If everybody in your family has a six-figure job, you have a one-figure job in your account, meaning zero, you are not a failure. If you have to get on benefits, if you have to get on things for the time being in order to survive, you are not a failure. If you failed and repeated a year in school, you are not a failure. What we have done is we have not succeeded in certain areas. That doesn't make us as individuals failures. I believe the fear of failure, when it becomes more psychological, is as a result of people's reactions when we failed, when we did not do things the way we should have done them, when things did not go the way we wanted them to do, when you had big aspirations. I've told you guys of my story. Remember when I was in Covenant first year, I failed woefully. As in, failure is not a small thing. The way I did not pass at all. At all, at all, at all. And I was confident I had passed. With my full chest, my dad got my result. He just came back from India. And he looked at me. He said, how do you think you did? I said, I did extremely well. I said, did you give your best? I said, all my best. I did every single thing I could. And my dad's a very strict man. We were in front of the cafeteria. Somebody's parent was slapping her for her result because a lot of us failed. And he showed me my result and I went cold. I was like, whose result is this? This cannot be mine. I got a 1.0. But I went from getting that 1.0 to a 4 point in my fourth year, in my third year. Why? First of all, I saw myself as a failure. First year, second year, I was improving. And eventually I started seeing that I failed in this task, but that doesn't make me a failure. Reframe the way you see yourself when things don't go the way you want them to go. Stop beating yourself down when you do not succeed. Most of us kill ourselves in our heads every day. We kill the projects in our head. We don't need enemies. Some of you, as you're listening to me, you don't need enemies at all. Oh. Sam, you don't need enemies. You are your greatest weak point. You are your greatest vulnerable spot. You are your greatest enemy. Why? You believe you are a failure because somebody called you a Ludo once. I'm a Christian. I will say, whose report do I believe? What does Jesus Christ say about me? But what do you believe about yourself? How do you see yourself? Do you see the fact that the project that you felt will earn you millions did not earn you millions? Does that make you yourself, not the project, a failure? Separate yourself from the task and the project. While you're doing your best, separate yourself from the path of the project when you are reviewing and reflecting so you can see what went wrong. Ask questions. Find out from others. Don't be a loner. Be intentional. When you're asking yourself these questions, if you made mistakes, accept it and you will make progress. Move on. Lack of clarity. Oh, this one is something that prevents people from accomplishing their goals. They are just not clear on what they want. Remember, okay, sorry, we are all know here that I talked about the lost sheep. That lost sheep doesn't have clarity about what they want. Everybody is doing something, they are doing it. Today I heard that the NFT that Justin Bieber bought for 1 billion is now what, is it $300,000 or something like that. There's some people that put their life savings in there. They didn't have clarity about what they wanted. They just saw a money making opportunity and they ran for it. That's a lost sheep. You are wandering everywhere and you are part of everybody's flock. You see a different shepherd, you just go and follow that shepherd. You don't realize that you have left your own flock. That's how some people live their lives every day. They are everywhere but nowhere. They lack clarity about who they are, what they want to do, why they want to do it, why they should do it, why it is aligned with their values. They lack clarity about that. So that lack of clarity makes them just jump from goals to goals. So they are practically stuck everywhere. They have like 5 projects that they're stuck at. Remember, what we're talking about is why people get stuck, why people don't do what they're supposed to do. What happens when we are unable to accomplish the goals? Why do we quit? We've said fear of failure makes people quit, but lack of clarity also makes people quit. Oh, every Nigerian should breathe a sigh of relief. Every Nigerian that grew up in Nigeria or anywhere of the world, every African, every Asian, because we're going to do a few things about Asia. We're going to go to Asia a little bit. But there's this pressure and expectations from your parents, from family, from society on your back that even makes you so afraid to take a step because you are wondering what they will say. You have peer pressure, you have African aunties pressure, you have the Nigerian aunties pressure, you have church pressure, you have expectations from church members, you have expectations from your managers. It just becomes overwhelming that you cannot do anything. That's why I said fear of expectations and pressure. This makes many people just say, you know what, I'm out, I'm not doing this. How many people can say that they don't have fear of expectations and pressure from family as Africans? Please introduce us to your family. But please just tell them in the comments, introduce us to your family. But fear of expectations and pressure prevents people from functioning. It prevents people from doing anything. It prevents them from understanding that they have what it takes. Sometimes, because of pressure, people and expectations, people have gone on career paths that they shouldn't be on. They've abandoned their path and they are living with regret every day, but they are just trying to smile and make every other person happy, not them. So the fear of expectations and pressure is real. How do you overcome the fear of expectations and pressure? Now, this may not work for everybody, but some people do this. They call it, I've forgotten the name. It's not distancing. If I remember, I'll tell you. But it's something that has been going on TikTok where they cut communication. I'm not asking you to do that. We can't do that. Most people's therapists will tell them to do that. Oh, establish boundaries. Oh, protect yourself. Speak to yourself in a positive way. Sometimes you do that, but when you get into the midst of these people, you break and you freeze. I would like you to read a book, and the book is called, oh my goodness, it's one of my red books. I'm just looking for red on my distance. I will talk about the book and I'll probably remember the name, but it's by Dale. And the book talks about the fact that certain things we see as pressure and as roadblocks are actually not that. So we should learn how to protect ourselves and prevent ourselves from falling under pressure. It's reading. Read that book. I will, if I remember the name, I'll send it to everybody on the email list. But basically, it's the growth. Where it came and it has gone again. I'll remember before the end of today because it's supposed to be on my bookshelf as one of my top books, but somebody may have taken it out. Anyway, that's why it's good I don't show my face. But reading that book, the truth finder or the growth finder or something like that, if anybody knows the book, please let me know in the chat. But basically, he was talking about somebody called Nobody and his journey to becoming somebody, and it's fictional. It's such a brilliant book. It's by something Dale. Listen, maybe you can help me do a Google search. Something Dale about growth, about somebody to nobody. If you just put those words, maybe the book will come up and you will let me know. And that book is a good example. I think I can cover everything in the book, but what I learned from the book is sometimes I had to define what these people are. That sometimes they were coming from a good place. I had to understand that I was seeing them through my lens. And when I changed the way I was seeing them, yes, the pressure was still there, but the pressure was no longer on me, it was on them. So it's reframing the way we see things, understanding that sometimes some people don't need certain information, managing the information you are giving people the information that they need, communicating when you need to. So you're not always on the defensive, because sometimes we are on the defensive when we are dealing with these people that have expectations from us. So sometimes you just need to be on the offensive. If you're always on the defensive, it's difficult to get things done. You are always under pressure. So switch it up. You know that they're going to ask you something. Present something to them. So that is fear. And for everybody that is just joining, hi, good evening. Welcome to today's edition of Stock to Finish. It's going to be 10 past series. Today is Tuesday. We'll meet every Tuesday and Friday, and the last three days of the month. Now, today we are looking at why people quit, why they don't do what they're supposed to do. We've looked at fear of failure. Now we are looking at lack of resources and overwhelm. Some people don't have the resources to do what they're supposed to do, and it can be frustrating and overwhelming. Today we're having a conversation on the team. Not everybody has a laptop. If everybody had a laptop, we'll be doing much better. Not everybody has access to electricity the way we have in London. Not everybody has access to Wi-Fi the way it's free. There are certain things that have limited these people from functioning fully the way they should function. And I thank you. Dare to lead or dare to be you. Is something dream giver. The dream giver. Help me check the dream giver, please. Thank you. So, so sorry, she was looking for a book for me. So lack of resources and overwhelm can put a lot of pressure for anybody. Sometimes we get overwhelmed because we have so much on our list, but sometimes it's because we actually lack the resources to actually do what needs to be done. And this is one of the reasons people abandon their goals. But what can you do when you're overwhelmed? I always say take a break and think on paper, because if you don't write every single thing down, you don't know what you need. So even if a resource comes, an opportunity comes, you can't articulate what you need. So sometimes it's actually writing things down. So for example, if you don't have a computer, you're sharing a computer with somebody. If you've written every single thing you need to write and you get for your hour, you can actually get something done. But there's still this, you have to acknowledge the fact that you don't have all the resources you need, rather than every morning saying, oh God, I wish I had a computer. With what you have, start. It could be overwhelming, but work from a list. Write everything down. Your to-do list is different from your daily list. There's your master list that is your to-do list. Every single thing goes on your to-do list. And as we said earlier, your to-do list is comprised of different tasks. Some of them are must do. The Dream Giver by Bruce Wilkinson. Thank you very much. So she has given us the name of the book to deal with this one, the fear of expectations and pressure. Please read The Dream Giver by Bruce Wilkinson. It's such a fantastic book. Thank you so much for that. So, lack of resources and overwhelm. Accept the fact that you don't have what it takes. You don't have the skill. Oh, I can't pay for this course. I can't pay for this course. Let me tell you what lack of resources has done for some people. Have you ever seen a video of a boy playing basketball or a boy creating his own gym and going from there to the NBA because everybody has seen what he can do? Document what you can do. Start with what you have. The world we live in, when you show what you have and share your journey, people will support you. Sometimes you just need that support. Sometimes it may not be the resources. You don't have the resources. You see some of these dancers that dance on the street, they don't have everything. They're dancing in the sun. Then all of a sudden they're in studios, they're in places. You see somebody like Ikorodu Boys. Next thing you're seeing him in movies. If he had been waiting for the best cameras to start filming, that little boy that went from Ikorodu Boys to movies will never have moved forward. So, what do you have in your hands? You don't have all the resources, but you have something. What do you have? and what do you need? What skills do you have already? What do you need to learn? So it's like, what do you have? What do you need? What skills do you have already? What knowledge do you need to acquire? That's what do you need to learn. You're asking yourself questions because sometimes when we lack the resource, I wish I could pay for B school. I wish I could pay for more gender's course. Some of them cost 3,000, 5,000. I wish I could pay for that. I saw something recently. I wanted to go for it. I saw the number of figures. I ran away. I was like, very soon I'll be able to, but what I have, I would give. What do you have in your hands? That's something. Lack of motivation. I can't help you. I wish I could flog everybody that has lack of motivation because I'm like, why are you not motivated? I remember in NYSC camp, they used to ask this question. They say, are you motivated? You now have to say motivated, motivated, motivated. Sometimes you're not motivated, but you're shouting motivated, motivated, motivated. And it used to be annoying because you have to say, think about it. NYSC camp, for those that served, for those that don't know, that's our National Youth Service camp. You're not motivated to run, but when the soldier says run, what are you going to do? You are going to get out of bed. If you want to hide under your bed and they find you, you're going to serve punishment. But when it comes to our own things, because no one is pushing us, we lack the motivation, we lack the drive, we lack the zeal. Some of us have the motivation, but we don't know, we don't want to act. Motivation alone is not enough to get people to get started. Oh, I don't feel like, that's one reason, that's one word that many people use to abandon goals. Have you ever said, I'm not in the mood? If you've said I'm not in the mood, right? I am not in the mood in the comment section for me. But that's what most of us say, I'm not in the mood. DK, how do you do it when you're not in the mood? How do you do it when you're not in the mood? How do you still thrive? How were you able to write 2 books? How were you able to keep pushing even if you may not be in the mood? And for me, there's something driving me more than motivation. Is a desire to always give myself and leave this world empty. Sometimes we say we lack the motivation, but sometimes we live this lazy approach when it comes to doing certain things because no one is holding us accountable and we are not holding ourselves accountable. When it comes to the gym, I've already said it, that's an area I've chosen to slack. But when it comes to certain things, I have chosen to show up 100%. What choice have you made? It's about you. I can give you motivational speeches. I can just give you whatever, tell you to read books and you'll be excited. Tomorrow morning, you have to stand up and do what you have to do. No one is coming. Do you know why I call it DIY branding and do it yourself whatever? I said do it yourself because no one is coming. Do it yourself because you saw your dream. I did not see your dream. Do it yourself. Yes, we all say I am not in the mood. Do it yourself because you are not in the mood. Do it yourself because you are tired. Do it yourself because that dream cannot die with you. Do it because of your children. Do it because you need that encouragement. Do it yourself. That's one word I will keep on saying. I cannot do it yet, but I will do it. But once you say do it yourself, I realized that nobody was going to help me. I realized that no matter how I share my dreams with people, they cannot push me. Now I've gotten a manager that I've said you're pushing me to do the things because I know that my motivation is different from the motivation of a business person. I am a creative at heart. I'm a free thinker. I want to do everything freely. No, I need structure. So I have asked for support, and sometimes it feels like I feel like arguing and saying no. And I will just say, okay, I agree with what you say. Let's do it your way. Because I have decided that, okay, even if I'm motivated to build a strong team and build a strong agency, motivation is not moving the needle. So when people don't do things because of lack of motivation, you have to ask them, but what motivates you? Is it money? Because you have to know what motivates you. No one can guess. You have to know. If there's anything that will push you to do what you're supposed to do, have you identified what actually motivates you? Maybe you're doing motivation based on another person's ideology. Your beliefs are different. What motivates you is different. What pushes you is different. Find out what motivates you. Motivation may not be because I am not in the mood or you are excited. Sometimes maybe I want to do something. I'm like, okay, I love Korean movies. They are creative. Sometimes when I want to get into the mood, I watch them because they make me feel lighter and then I can concentrate. But the thing that is motivating me is something inner. It's something that I made a vow with God that said, you know what? Until the knowledge of the glory of the Lord takes over the earth as the water covers the sea, I will make myself diligent. I'll be disciplined. With the energy I have, I will do what I can do. So that is what is driving me. That's my belief. What's your belief system? What values do you carry? What are the words that you speak to yourself to push you? No one is coming. No, even if I ask you to join the commitment circle, I have meetings with you every day. I am an accountability coach. The work is not done by me. Your work is done by you. And the good news is you have what it takes. Will it be easy? No. Will you be in the mood all the time? No. But will you do it? Only you can answer that question. So, if you've ever said I'm not in the mood, I'm still waiting. So only one person says I'm not in the mood today. All right, let's continue. Self-doubt and limiting beliefs. Now, this is something we've addressed before, so I'm going to rush through this. Many of us doubt ourselves. Many of us kill ourselves before we've pulled the trigger on ourselves many times and we just keep coming back to life. We doubt what we can do by ourselves. So before people have shut down your dreams. You know, sometimes you go to Shark Tank, you watch Lions Den, you watch all these programs, and you see some entrepreneurs, you see some entrepreneurs' dreams tarnished completely. It's like, wow, this is an impossible thing. Some of us have that meeting in our minds with ourselves. We are all the dragons, and we've put out our own things with our dragon fire. We by ourselves with our own two naked hands have killed our dreams before they start. Why? Because of doubt. Doubt and fear kill more dreams than anything else in the world. Limiting belief of how you see yourself, how you see your abilities, how you see your work kills you. There's some people that are so confident that when they speak, they're talking rubbish and you're like, but there's some people that have all it takes and they don't know how to present themselves. So when you're looking at self-doubt and limiting beliefs, write these things down. Say, okay, why do I doubt this? Why do I think this will not succeed? Do I have what it takes? If I don't have the takes, what do I want to do about it? One day, and sometimes people are doing this thing. I don't know who it was, but someone was like, she has low self-esteem. That's why she did plastic surgery, blah, 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 blah. And my response was, okay, she has low self-esteem. What next? What next are you going to tell people? So if your limiting beliefs are based on what people have said about you, so they've said it, they should go. Do you believe those things about yourself? If you believe those things about yourself, what do you want to do about it? If your limiting beliefs about yourself not being able to speak in public, for instance, is true, are you going to intentionally do something about it in order for you to thrive? Because it takes you stepping up for you. No one is. I can help you to see it, but I can't help you to do it. I can open your eyes to the amazing opportunities that exist when you believe in yourself, but you have to believe in yourself first before others believe in you. And some people may say, this person is proud and arrogant because you believe in yourself. If someone has told you you're proud and arrogant, ask yourself that question. Am I really proud and arrogant? If I am, how can I change? What can I do? You're asking yourself tough questions before you go to the world. So before people shoot me down, I'll shut myself down. But I've woken myself up. And when you are talking to yourself, you're not talking to yourself like this is the end of the world. It's a truth finding mission. So I'm adventurous in that, but not in reality. It's a truth finding mission, and you're trying to find out the truth about who you are. And then you're going to take action if there is something about you that needs to change, rather than beating yourself up every day about that thing you want to change. Make a plan and make those changes. If not, you keep doubting yourself. You have a fixed mind about who you are. Everyone has great capabilities. I believe that when we want something, sometimes the world gives it to us. I was saying, I want to take improv classes. All of a sudden, the NHS was doing an improv class and I had to join. But I have spoken about the way, I want to change the way I speak. Sometimes I can be a low speaker. Sometimes I have energy. Sometimes I don't. And I want to take those classes. And they're really helpful. But if I had said that first time I did my life, I speak too fast. I don't know what I'm saying. Oh, these people are laughing at the way I talk. I would have shot myself in the foot 2016 and not stood up after that day. So the way limiting beliefs, is there truth in it? If there is truth, what do you want to do about it? If it's a lie, how are you going to protect yourself, give yourself that camouflage or that armor that you need? Shifting priorities. Now, this is one that almost all of us do. Do we know our priorities? Do you know what is urgent? Do you know what is important? Sometimes we are going from one thing to the other, one thing to the other. So none of the tasks you're doing is complete, but you're doing like five, six things at the same time. So you're shifting your priorities, you're sharing your focus. And when you're like, this thing is not working out, so you just abandon some without actually sitting down to say, all right, which one is important, which one is not, which one can I learn from, which one do I need to drop? So shifting priorities also affects us. Oh, perfectionism and unrealistic expectations. I am the queen of unrealistic expectations, or rather, I was the queen of unrealistic expectations. Sometimes I still go there. I'm a retired perfectionist. And now, okay, this is what I will say. If you're a perfectionist, call yourself a retired perfectionist. Say, I'm a retired, because in the future, you would be a retired perfectionist. So, all retired perfectionists, let me know that you're here. But the reason I'm saying speak about the future you as the present you is because a goal is not something you work towards, it's something you become immediately. Oh, screen is not sharing properly on Instagram. All right, let's see. Thank you very much for letting me know. Hope this is better. So a goal is not something you work towards, it's something you become. Most of us think that I will work towards being a perfectionist. I will work towards setting realistic expectations. I am someone that sets realistic expectations. You are reframing the way you see yourself. I am someone that sets realistic expectations. I am a retired perfectionist. We are in trouble if we do not change the way we speak about ourselves and reframe the way we see ourselves. Now, lack of support. Thank you, and this thing. Lack of support is something that many people don't have. Many people don't have the support. So your dreams, your inspiration, every single thing you are doing it alone. No one at home understands why you want to be a singer. No one understands why you want to be a creative. No one understands why you do what you want to do. They just see it as unnecessary, unimportant, and it's not moving the needle. So we don't have the support we need. If you don't have the support you need internally, create your support system. You can't force people to see things from your perspective. Sometimes we're trying to force it and it cannot be forced. So, yes, I have an accountability group, the commitment circle. I have friends that I am committed to, part of my mastermind, because I know that if I'm speaking about what I do, no one at home understands the path that I am taking. If they have their way, I'll be doing something else. But then I had to look for support. And that doesn't mean you don't love these people. That just means that this part of your life, you limit the information you share with them. Look for support, look for online communities, go to church, look for communities and people that you can join that will show you the support that you need. Support is important. No man is an island. If I was doing this on my own since 2016, maybe I'll be doing something else by now. But no man is an island. Everybody is equipped to do certain things, but we need each other. Just like the body, the hand cannot do the work of the leg, neither can it do the work of the eyes. Everybody has a role. So when you get that right support system, trust me, things change. And your support system must not be people that are doing exactly what you want. They can be doing similar things. They can be people that are invested in their personal development. They can be different people. They can be people you meet in church. But try and look for people that you can be vulnerable with. Do you have a group that you can actually sit down and just say, I bumped this interview. I failed in this thing. I did not do what I was supposed to do with this client. And they will not ridicule you or insult you, but they will show you the support and give you the corrections that you need. They will speak truth to you and they can tell you when you're doing wrong. Do you have that kind of community of friends? If not, check yourself. Sometimes we look for support from people, but also we are not supportive to others. So lack of support, lack of patience. I'm sure everybody knows this one. I don't need to say it. We want it done. Na. Adike. I want to be able to do my goals and finish my goals. 90 days is too long. Oh, I can't work for 90 days. I can't commit for 90 days. Adike, how did you show up every day for 30 days? That I can never be me. You're already speaking negatively about yourself. And with the world giving us instant gratification, some of us can't even wait anymore. We want to do everything. They call us the microwave generation. The reason many people quit in this day and age is because of unrealistic expectations and unrealistic views from celebrities, influencers, and other people. They see people that they think that they made it overnight and they expect to make it overnight. So when we know the truth that entrepreneurship is not a walk in the park, some people say become an entrepreneur or work for yourself and you will never have to work the rest of your life, or how to work 1 hour a day and then not work again for the rest of the day. They don't tell you the work, the mind work, the everything, the payroll. They don't tell you all these things. It's all fun and games until bills start coming up. Then you know that there is something that needs to be done. But lack of patience has made many people abandon their goals just at the edge of their breakthrough. Are you at the edge of your breakthrough? Are you about to give up on something? Have you given up? Do you need to remember that patience is a virtue that everybody needs to have? And it's a virtue that starts small. If you are impatient, that's all right. If you're impatient today, that's all right. There's nothing wrong with that. There's something wrong with you still being impatient 1 year from now. So, what do you want to do? I will see if I can find a book about patience, but I always say it's about starting small. Sometimes you don't need another course, you just need to understand what patience is. You need to do your own research and find ways to be patient. External influences can shape our beliefs, what is possible, and influence our commitment to goals. This is true. I used to say I'm not influenced externally, but I used to watch someone a prayer stuff and my brother talked negatively about it and I couldn't watch it again. And before I say I'm my own person. As in sometimes when I want to make decisions, I'm like, okay, I can't make these decisions. When I bring external people and I'm like, okay, this is going the way I did not want it to go. What can I do about it? External influences are real. There are people in your life that influence you. They could be people that influence you directly. They could be people that you look up to on TV. But the reason many people abandon their goals is because of external influences. Now, we're going to talk a little bit about this. And today we're going to go beyond time. So we'll be here to 10. Sorry about that. Fear of success. Is it not surprising that people are afraid of succeeding? Some people are afraid of what comes with success, what comes when I go viral, what comes when all the brands are coming to me. They will have so much expectations from me. I have to maintain a certain level of achievement. You see, most people don't want to become celebrities because of the stress that comes with being celebrities. Or what if they drag me on the internet one day? We're asking ourselves so many what ifs that we don't want to take any action. It comes from a fear of change. You don't want to change. You're okay with where you are. You're like, if I become more successful, maybe I will not have time for God. If I become more successful, maybe I will not have time for family. I'm content with where I am, so I will not put any work into this. Then there's a pressure to maintain a certain level of achievement. You've become this, you are living this, and then you're supposed to go higher. People, the world, society, everybody is putting pressure on you. And what success does for you is it brings self sabotage. So you by yourself, with your own, like I always say, with your own two naked hands, will sabotage everything. To sabotage simply means to destroy. By yourself, you will destroy it by your actions, by your inactions, by your comments, by refusing promotions, by refusing to even do certain things, maybe refusing to film, refusing to talk about your brand. I am guilty of that. Another thing that happens with successful people is you have to be successful to have imposter syndrome. When I heard that, I was like, wow, you have to have something to for you to see yourself as an imposter. So imposter syndrome is another thing. You feel that you do not deserve to be there. Feel that maybe another person can be there. Oh, I don't deserve to be there. I don't deserve this. I don't deserve this. Imposter syndrome. the change of the unknown. Some of us just want life to go the way we want it. We don't want any changes. We don't like surprises. I don't like surprises. So I like my life the way I have arranged and organized it. Moving out of my apartment is going to be a different conversation because I've lived here for so long. But that change and the unknown prevents some people from actually moving away from where they are to where they should be. And I'm speaking of myself also. And another thing that makes people afraid of success is fear of judgment or criticism. When you have more eyes on you, you get more comments. You get both the positive, you get the negative. You get people coming to your DMs to acknowledge you. You get people criticizing your work. Oh, why didn't you look at it from this perspective? You just gave a quote and somebody has come and destroyed it completely. And you're like, I just shared my perspective. But because you become popular, you become successful, there is so much more expected from you. So that prevents people from wanting to succeed. They'll be like, I would rather just stay where I am. But how do you overcome the fear of success? And I just wrote this down. It involves recognizing and understanding the underlying fear. Remember, we talked about identifying the underlying fear. What you did for the fear of success, you're doing for the fear of failure. Then, when you find out the underlying fear, you acknowledge it, but you challenge the negative beliefs. You challenge it, you don't accept it. And then it's a process. You start building self confidence. You build self confidence by speaking to yourself with affirmations, by supporting yourself, by being the best version of yourself, by not letting other people's words affect the way you do things. So when you're creating your own strategies to cope with the potential challenges, because like I said at the beginning, there would be challenges. There are challenges that come with success. Sometimes you need mentors. Sometimes you need a therapy. Sometimes you need a support group to walk through your fears and develop resilience in pursuing goals. If you have this, ask for help. Don't try and do it on your own. So, how do you overcome psychological barriers? I've already used my case study of my exams and how I changed my own. But this is what I will say: you have to reframe learning as a failure as a learning opportunity. That we talked about that already when we talked about the fear of failure. Embrace the growth mindset to overcome the fear of failure. The fear of failure is making many people to abandon their goals. I failed before. It will not succeed. I asked for sponsorship. Nobody did this. Nobody shared my post. Nobody listened to my podcast. Oh, even if I edited it, I spent hours working on a video. It has failed, so I will fail. No. Reframe failure as a learning opportunity and embrace the growth mindset. And it's about you having personal accountability, but also support, because I've talked about accountability. Accountability should be personal first. You're accountable to yourself, so you do what you say you would do. And then you speak with a group so that you are not doing it alone. They can hold you accountable. So, what do I want us to do when it comes to quitting, abandoning goals, and moving forward? I say it's a self-awareness and reflection. We've talked about identifying your fears, but also identify your self-sabotaging behaviors. Do you know how you procrastinate? Do you know how you avoid stuff? Do you know how you speak to people when you're upset because you want to avoid attacks? Do you know the negative self-talk that you talk to yourself about? When you are become your greatest person that understands you, you are able to do more. You're able to identify the things that motivate you. We talked about what actually motivates you, but we're now looking at what makes you to destroy what you have. You have a relationship going well. Next thing, something just enters your head and you decide to destroy it. Are there patterns you have? Acknowledge them. We will need you to challenge negative beliefs and practice self talk, positive self talk. Set realistic and manageable goals. Tomorrow, on Friday, we're going to talk more about this. Cultivate resilience and coping strategies. Now, this is very possible for even the people pleaser. As a retired people pleaser, I'm learning to develop resilience more. I understand that yes, there will be setbacks and challenges, and my journey is different from everybody's journey. But I have been able to, by doing, build resilience. And when it comes to stress management, I may not be the best at it. I hate deep breathing exercises. I hate meditation, but journaling is good. Keeping myself busy is good. What works for you when you are stressed, when you're hyperventilating, when you are angry? What works for you? Do you need to be alone? Do you need to talk to somebody? Understand what works for you. And I just said I was going to end with a couple of proverbs from Japan. I told you we are going to go to Asia a little bit. Don't worry, I'm not going to try and pronounce. I think I should try. So it says Narakorobi Yoki. Fall down 7 times, stand up 8. This proverb encourages perseverance and resilience, reminding us to never give up even in the face of failures and setbacks, because there would be failures and setbacks. The second one is flowers will bloom. It signifies hope and reminds us that even in challenging times, there is always potential for growth and positive outcomes. I've shared my story many times with many people, and when I decided not to do my PhD, I would have said that's the end of the world. But I was able to redefine myself and bloom. Challenging times were there, 9 challenging years, but there's always potential for growth and positive outcomes. And I have seen those growth and positive outcomes in my life. One encounter, one opportunity. Treat every opportunity as something that has something for you to learn. Make most of every encounter and experience. Don't say, oh, it's just this person. I'm used to this person's company. Take advantage of every encounter, because every encounter you have, it's a new opportunity for you to try something new. One's own doing brings down one's reward or punishment. This to me is about self discipline, responsibility, accountability for your actions. Remember, what you do could lead to rewards or punishments. So, what are you going to do today that will lead to your rewards? What are you going to do that will lead to you being the best version of yourself? What are you making a commitment to do today? It will be fantastic. You should never give up. Never give up. It conveys a powerful message of perseverance and determination, which all of you have. But it encourages us to keep pushing forward and not surrender to challenges and obstacles, because challenges and obstacles will come, but you need strength. So I decided to go all the way to Nembe to get you a proverb. I'm a Nembe girl. And today's conversation has been on why people quit goals. People need to understand that there is strength. In the heart, strength is required. Niele bi mba wete owu. My parents are not here, so I don't know if I pronounced that properly. This proverb reminds individuals that inner strength and determination are essential for overcoming challenges and achieving goals. Encourages individuals to cultivate resilience within them. So, as we've said, challenges will come, difficult times will come, but we have what it takes. Rather than quitting, what I always encourage people to do is stop, because you are the most important person in this equation. So rather than quitting, rather than abandoning your dreams, rather than abandoning everything, stop, pause. When you're stopping, you're not pausing, you're not hitting the brake and saying this is the end. Rather, you're slowing down so you will get speed later. You need to do the self reflection exercise. You need to talk to yourself and find out what exactly is going on, because you are the most important factor in this equation. You need to have discipline. You need to be diligent. You need to be resilient. You need to have self accountability, self leadership. Leadership is not about leading others, it's about leading yourself first. So, when we're doing all that we do so that we don't quit our goals, we realize that we play, or you play, the most important role, because you're the one that has to take actions. It's not enough to have a cute vision board. It's not enough to have all the cute planners. Trust me, I have had those things. They don't move the needle. What's most important is you understanding that you play a very important role in your life. You cannot outsource your personal growth and development. You cannot outsource your goals implementation completely. You can delegate some parts, but you would need to do the work, because no one saw your vision. That's why I said do it yourself. What are you going to do yourself today after listening to today? Because there's a replay of this on YouTube and LinkedIn and Facebook, so you can listen to it again. At least you still have 3 days before the next session. But what's most important that you take out of this is, I would say, take a screenshot of this page. It's you. You are the one that decides if you quit. You have a choice. You have a choice to see failure as a learning opportunity or failure as you being a failure. You are not a failure. Some things did not succeed. You did not reach your expectations. And we'll be talking about setting realistic goals on Friday because we've talked about goal setting and we've talked about reflecting on the past. Now it's time to get to work. How do we set realistic goals that we would not want to quit? What makes these goals different from other goals that we have set? What kind of mindset do we need to have when we are setting goals? We'll be answering this question and much more on Friday by 9 p.m. But I just want to say thank you all for joining me today. Do I have any questions? I know I don't usually ask. If you have any questions, oh my goodness, it's time. If you have any questions, you can send me a DM directly on Instagram and I or the team will respond. But I don't want to go beyond the time we agreed because I said I was going to finish 15 minutes late. But thank you. Thank you for listening. Thank you for contributing. Thank you for participating. And I look forward to seeing you on Friday. Blessing, please DM me. We have to talk. All right, guys. Bye, everyone. Hi, Instagram.